Good morning. Episode 10, Richard Thomas Writing Channel, Beyond Ambition. The next piece from my writing of a year ago, um, this was on September the 1st, 2023. This piece was entitled Woody Allen and the Ambition to Write a Masterpiece. And I want to talk a little bit about ambition right now. I don't have any. It was this is a recent realization. It is only I think right before I started doing these videos that I had a conversation with my friend, and I was trying to figure out what I wanted to write next, and I thought, do I have to? I went through all these things. I talked about them actually in earlier videos. Do I just concentrate on a novel? Because if I really want to write a great novel, then I shouldn't be involved doing any kind of other writing or creativity. Uh, and working through that, I didn't have the ambition uh, to submit for publication, et cetera, et cetera. All these things about ambition. And then I'm watching Morning Joe, uh, and the historian Doris Kearns Goodwin is talking about a children's book she wrote about presidents when they were children and what qualities they had as children. And one of the things that they all had was an ambition to do something bigger than themselves. So that even puts it into another category, which I think I already was in, that the ambition isn't, my past ambition was really not for self aggrandizement. Well, maybe a little bit it was, and maybe a little bit it can't be otherwise. But the greater ambition was to do something really good, just like these child presidents that she focused on had an ambition to do something positive for the people. Young Lyndon Johnson saying that he wanted to lift up the black and brown people in his Texas county from poverty. And when he became president, then he was able to do something about it. That type thing. The ambition to do something useful, helpful, to really make a contribution, which is all very noble sounding and noble. But I think I've changed uh, just since I started doing these videos. I really, I don't feel ambitious. I don't wake up every day thinking, how am I going to make my creative masterpiece, which is somehow going to enlighten the world. I just don't. I'll tell you what my thoughts are presently. I've ordered a new car, and I'm waiting for it to be delivered from Japan. So I'm really looking forward to having that car. I'm very interested uh, in the presidential election, and I'm following it very closely. This is the laundry list of what I've been thinking about this morning. Last year, since we moved from Chicago to Nashville, I got NFL Sunday tickets so I can watch the Bears games down here, and the Bears are playing on Sunday. And I'm looking forward to that. We're going to take a trip in December uh, with the grandkids, and of course, my stepdaughter and my son-in-law. I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to all these things. It's not like, I'm not like, I don't think that my mind is working the way James Joyce was when he was writing Finnegan's Wake. I just don't see it. I'm so, and also, I think what I was talking about before about being natural, an extension of that. Oscar Wilde saying that you don't know. It's better if you don't know what you're going to do, because then you can do anything. That kind of natural progression of things, that you just do what you deeply want to do. And I made that statement, I think, in the last video, that I think everybody in the world, if they were conscious of and had the opportunity to fulfill their natural potentials, to live out their natural destiny, what they're meant to do, that there wouldn't be any problems in the world. Everything would be taken care of. There'd be perfect harmony, because everybody would be in harmony with nature, that we're all species unto ourselves. And then it's also connected with the fact that not needing anybody, like Charlie Munger. So, Charlie Munger, well, he did it with money. So he said, he had money, so he didn't, in a sense, he was beyond career. He wasn't trying to prove anything to himself or to other people. He was just being who he is. So I honestly think, I'm at that point. I just, so this piece, okay, this piece, the next piece up, Woody Allen and the ambition to write a masterpiece. I was just telling that to my friend, as I mentioned, like a few weeks ago, that I said, I really want to write something great. If it's not great, if I'm not on the track to do something great, why do it? Here's what I think now. If I just do what I really want to do, it will be great. That's all. This thing about not needing other people, that also does something too. It really throws the idea of success and status out the window. I mean, what's that about? Except what other people think of you. And even if you say, well, success is defined by what you think is success, which is what I've been saying for quite a while now. But I don't even want myself to be the judge and jury of the value of who I am and what I do. I just want to live out my destined life, and that's good enough. It's like my friend used the phrase he said that I had effortless effort, and I think this is why. Frankly, I've never had a great relationship with the word work. I mean, what does it mean exactly to work? I mean, to work on something. Well, you better work on that. It's like, why? I mean, it seems to me like I'm getting this new car. Well, I did things that put me in a position where I could get the new car. So is that work? I don't know. To me, it's play. It's like a great athlete. Sure, they have to practice and they have to get in shape and all that. They have to. It's repetitive but it's not really work. I mean, they're playing. It's more fun that way. So anyway, so this whole thing about it, by the way, not only not a masterpiece, I don't care if it's art. I don't care if it's writing. I don't care what it is. It's the authentic it's the authentic creative impulse inside of me, and I believe in everyone else, which is really not something to have ambition for. It's something to follow. Right now, what I want to do creatively is these videos. I'm enjoying doing these videos. So that's what I'm doing. And the manuscript, for example, which I wanted to be a novel, it turned out being a memoir, and I'm glad I did it. But the way it didn't feel natural. I mean, what's the process of these videos? It's like, it's actually, I'm thinking all the time. I'm living my life. I'm thinking while I live. Things are making an impression on me. There's certain things that I want to say. And then for, most every morning I come and I make the video. And the life, the work, the play, the desire, the ambition, whatever it is, it's life. It's just life. Just live it. Live it. This is it. That was one of the big things that bothered me about the memoir, is this deep dive into my past. It was like, yes, I got more insights about my past and I wasn't really diving into my past. The memory is a memory of the last memory. It's not a memory of what happened. It became something completely different. Again, my friend said it great. He said you interpret your past like dreams. And that's the way it is. It was really about now. And that's what I was doing. But there was a part of me that was saying, enough with the past, enough with the past. Maybe I'm beyond the masterpiece. I mean, James Joyce said, history is a nightmare from which I am trying to awake. Maybe I woke up. I mean, I'm just thrilled. I'm happy to be alive. I love my family. We moved here to Nashville. I'm happy right now. I don't have any angst. And I don't even have those thoughts about past slights and injustices and everything. I don't give a shit. I'm like very joyful. There's nobody like that in my life. So, what do I have to desire except more of the same, which will be varied and interesting, because the same is a state of constant transformation. Let me look at this, because I just got a text. It's probably from Move On. Well, it's a wrong number. Hey, Callista, let's go to the Seahawks game on September 8th. Do you have time? So I don't know who Callista is. Okay. So let's look at this and see if there's anything in this writing. I tend to doubt it. I think this is going into the remainder bin. But Woody Allen and the ambition to write a masterpiece. I just read that Woody Allen regrets never making a masterpiece. He feels he let himself down. He said he had all of the advantages, which he listed: money and complete artistic freedom. Yeah, that's more than ambition. I feel gratitude. I mean, I don't have, and it changes. This changes too. But if you've got money in your pocket and you're in good health, and this really sounds like a cliche, but if that's what you have, what the fuck are you worried about? You got it all. I mean, of course you don't have it all. I mean, I love my wife. I love my family. I love doing this. I love you to the extent that you're here and listening. But that is what makes the rest of it possible. That foundation has been built. So, and then all the other things that are in the foundation. So when I was learning how to write, I mean, actually how to write, like in grade school and maybe high school, when it got a little bit more than just this is a sentence, a little bit more about writing. When I was learning how to write, that's a foundation. But to me, the memory of everything that I have that I ever really needed does not seem like work. It doesn't seem like something I struggled with. It doesn't seem like something I wanted to achieve. It was something that was either gifted to me or that was fun. And I think finding that joy and the gifts. Now, Joseph Campbell talks about sacrifice and bliss, but sacrifice is bliss. I love this house we have, for example. I love it. In Nashville, it's unbelievable. You get so much more house than we did in Chicago because of the prices. And my wife really is the brains of the operation. And I've been in a support function for sure, but it's been a lot of work. I mean, it was months, the moving and the setting it up. And this thing turned out to be even more of a fixer-upper than we thought it was. But so it was a lot of work to get this furniture and everything. This simple room that I'm sitting in was a lot of work. You could say that sacrifice and everything, but I love this room. And to tell you the truth, I enjoyed that work because I knew I was going to love the room. I, I'm just, I don't know. I don't know if I'm saying anything profound here at all this morning, but it's really the way I'm feeling. Um, Campbell had another line too. He said, get pressure ideas out of your system. And I think ambition, oh, I have to write a masterpiece. I think that's a pressure idea. What the fuck does that give you? It doesn't give you anything. Just like write, create, do things. Don't worry about it. Don't worry if it's a masterpiece or not. Just have it be what it is. That's why when I look back at these blog segments, and I told you earlier about all the discussions, what is more, what's the better writing, the manuscript, the trying to write a novel, or these personal essays or whatever? I've always had a feeling that I look at the stuff that I've done and I like it. And there's a lot of it that objectively sucked, but I like it because I see it, and that's part of this process that we've been going through. I've pulled out like two pieces that I thought, oh well, these are good pieces. These hold together as good pieces. But all the stuff that I said was notes and sort of, just preparatory or whatever. I still look at it and I like it. I like enjoying myself. I read an article about the writer Paul Thoreau, and he said that being a writer is a very indulgent life. And one of my critics, who I could really give a damn what this guy has to say about anything, to tell you the truth. I mean, he's kind of a fool, but he said he said, "Oh, he's very indulgent. He's very very sternly. He's very very indulgent." And yeah, I am guilty as charged, and and I think it's been a great life because of it. You know. Okay. I continue about Woody Allen. Say I agree with him that he never had a masterpiece. Many good movies, no masterpieces. I don't know if he had it in him. And so this might be something to rewrite later, or maybe I'm rewriting it now, and this talk is the rewrite of it. Who knows? But this next line, he needed to work too much. That's an interesting observation. I think it's true. He never made a masterpiece, Woody Allen. He would grind out 2 movies a year. 2 movies a year. And how can you make a masterpiece? As a matter of fact, one of the things that I often feel when I watch movies, and I like watching movies, although not as much as I used to. I'm getting impatient with them, and I went to see a good movie. This movie, Sing Sing, uh, a couple days ago, and it was good, but I had to go to the bathroom, and then I decided I didn't want to go back. And the reason why I didn't want to go back is because it was good, but I knew where it was going. There was nothing new in it for me. It wasn't engaging my attention. Sometimes there's a movie that really does, and the experience of watching a movie at home, which I don't know if people still do it, but they would say, "Oh, you got to see it in the movie theater." I saw Sing Sing in a movie, or part of Sing Sing in a movie theater. It's like the experience of watching a movie at home is to me, I like better. I'm more comfortable. I can pause it. I can get up and go to the bathroom. I get you know I don't have to spend $20 to get something to eat. It's just it's just more comfortable. If I don't like it, I can change to something else. I can look on my phone. In a boring part, I can read something, or I can look up. If I have a question in my mind about an actor or something, I can look it up. I just like it better. The thing of sitting there for all that time, um, I don't know. And that might have something to do with what I'm doing with these videos and going more to the talk and going back and forth. I just to me these things feel more like the way I live anyway, and I think the way people live. I writer, and I don't know. I'm not that interested in literature. I mean, I've enjoyed writers, and I've learned, and it's resonated with me. Good writers have resonated with me, but you know what resonates me with the most is life. Life, like I say, Doris Kearns Goodwin on Morning Joe, talking about ambition. That triggers me. That's a little piece of information. To me, it's like I get little pieces of information and little, like a bird building a nest, just a little piece of cloth, a little piece of string. This is life is a novel. It's a novel that you write. It's a novel that you read. So, um, the another Campbell line. Um, a mystic is like an artist, except an artist is like a mystic, except a mystic doesn't have a craft. And the idea behind that is that you better have a craft. If it's like you're listening to your inner and outer experiences, like telling you things, and you're just like fashioning something out of what you're getting. That's the craft of the artist. And the idea is that the mystic, I mean, the greatest example in my background is like Christ. Well, what happens to the mystic? They kill him, because so you need some sort of buffer. That's the only thing that I get out of it. Other words, mysticism and art, it's like I think mysticism is better than art because it's more transcendent. Art is the demand of the world that you give it a little something. Give it a little something, something. So I'm giving Oh, geez. Sorry. I'm giving talk, I'm giving this video, right? I'm giving you a little bit of a picture, and that's enough. But I think all art is really trying to approximate that thing of just living, living. As a matter of fact, I think that Campbell wrote a book, or maybe somebody else made a collection of his writing and gave it this title, but it was called The Art of Living. And that's ultimately that's the biggest thing that I feel. My creation, my masterpiece is me. That's really it. So maybe these videos are like maybe the most perfect form I've ever been creative in, because it's a video with very low production values. There's no audience here. So you're really encountering me. And it's a way of making a record of it. I mean, I imagine these things will exist. I'm sure, I'm not sure, but I think probably with the sound off, they'll be playing at my wake, in the background. Oh, there, he was kind of philosophical. You know, he was he was very happy. These are the people who know me, and I'm really a happy guy. And then I was like, "Ooh," you know, the in a lot. I was not Mister Buoyant at other points in my life, but that's fine too. That's it. And by the way, that's gone. So anyway, back to Woody Allen's masterpiece. He needed to work too much. His work resembles my blog, which was active at that point. His work resembles my blog, revisiting themes from different angles. Yeah, he has themes that he goes back to, but then I try to distinguish myself from him, and I don't know. I don't think this distinction is really that well drawn out. He said, but he kind of jumps around. He samples points of view, searches, and tries things. I got all that wandering out of my system before I started writing. Yeah, because dedicated writing that started now what 11 years ago. So dedicated writing started 11 years ago. So really, I was writing in my head. I was searching all these themes for decades before that. That's how I was a writer. I mean, it was all just going on inside me. I wasn't expressing it at all. So what I say is I drill what is there. I dig deeper mines. I don't go looking for anything else. That I don't think that's very well written, but I think that is a difference between me and Woody Allen. He'll go from one thing to another, crimes and misdemeanor. He'll talk about, what is it to be a good person? What is it to be an evil person? Does it matter? He's who knows how that applies to his life. And in Alice, he looks at religion. He looks comically at religion and Hannah and her sisters. He keeps looking, but I think he never turns the microscope on himself. He never dives into what exactly is my being and how could it transform, uh, either to be a good person or to be something else. I don't. I don't. I'm still not expressing it right, but I think it is a difference between my writing and what I'm saying and Woody Allen. I think I go deeper than Woody Allen. And he had all the advantages, but he had a couple of disadvantages. One was is that he was solely an entertainer, and I think if you get stuck in that mindset, it really limits you to feel that you should entertain. And then he was successful at it. And what happened? He was not. Um, he needed people, no matter how much he would say, "Oh, I don't believe in Oscars or whatever." Somehow, though, he kept doing stuff that got them. He could write good parts for actors, and that's sort of what he built his empire upon. But really, if he wanted to be, and and this is one thing I might share with him. He was good at life. I mean, he landed on his feet. And I wonder sometimes when you think about these really great writers, the the just there is a tremendous sacrifice there. It is greatness. I love what they did. I love it. I don't feel it's in myself. I'm having too good of a time. I don't think that I don't think that Eugene O'Neill was in Provincetown thinking about his new Toyota coming in. I don't know what I think actually about this. If I'm going to do anything deep, it's going to come out naturally. I'm not going to wake up in the morning and say, I want to write something deep today. I don't think so. It's going to surprise me. If there's a long day's journey into night inside of me, I'm not going to know when it shows up. I'm just going to do it. And I think he knew, you know, he got I talk about this all the time. He got the Nobel Prize before he wrote his greatest plays. But that's an interesting difference between him and Woody Allen. He stepped away from it. He said, "Don't publish these." He stepped away and he went and he did the great thing. Woody Allen just kept churning out those movies. They were always popular with somebody, but a lot of his movies, though, you look at him, he was just keeping busy, and some of them are really good. But I agree, not masterpiece, but I guess that's fine. But if what Woody Allen was doing, it was like, I have notes here. I'm going back over the blog. I'm saying, well, these two pieces are good. So there's a match point and there's a whatever, Midnight in Paris or something. There's something where he really hits his stride. And the other ones are basically just notes leading up to the stuff that's good. So in that way, I'm like Woody Allen. And I guess when I wrote that, I thought I was kind of full of myself. I thought I did have a masterpiece in me. I guess I don't care. He cares. I don't care if I have a masterpiece. If I ever do a masterpiece, it's going to be the way everything else happens. I had no idea that my marriage was going to be as great as it is, for example. I didn't know what I was doing. I had an idea that I wanted to do it. That's all. There have been so many unexpected bounties from that. And anyway, let's go back to this. I think Woody was young for a long time. He had another opportunity to delay growing up. The world wanted him to stay young, sexually, intellectually. That Dorian Gray opportunity became a liability, which frustrated his highest artistic ambitions. Well, I think that's really a good line, and I think it's insightful, and I think it's true that I was going to use the word unseemly, but no, that's too morally judgmental. I don't mean it that way. I mean, it's just like, you know, there was even that period where he was finally he got other actors to play the romantic part, but he played the romantic part in those movies way past the time he should have been thinking that way. So he had great success with a new kind of romantic comedy, and then uh, then it kind of petered out. There was one movie that I thought was to me was close to being a masterpiece, and I think it was helped a lot by uh, the actor that was the lead in the movie, because Woody Allen just did a voiceover in it a couple times. That Sweet and Lowdown was really a to me, I'm just going by what I remember, and I think that was probably his best movie. And I think Sean Penn had as much to do with it as Woody Allen did. But that was a that that was a great picture. Um, Another one that had a great performance in it, but but in that case, I think it transcended the script, was Blue Jasmine. I mean, Kate Blanchett was really something. But a filmmaker that I think does make masterpieces, mentioning Kate Blanchett, is Todd Field. And he doesn't make two movies a year. I mean, he sits it out, and he makes his money making commercials or something. He doesn't rely on the movies uh, to um, to be his source of security. So he doesn't need people, and he's made every movie he's made is great, and Tar is a masterpiece. Tar is a masterpiece. Okay. I'm sort of all over the place today. I hope you don't mind. But a lot of times I have that feeling, and then I look at the video and I say, well, I don't know, that sort of hangs together. So let nature be the editor, let nature be the director, let nature be the writer, let nature do everything. And just like I just surf, I just surf with nature. Um, and if it's not a good episode, big deal. It'll help make the next episode better. Or maybe two or three down the line. I don't know. Now, this is, I put in, the greatest facility of a master is the ability to change. Okay. I'm actually not, I'm actually liking this piece. I might do a little tweaking where I have to develop that paragraph where I'm making the comparison between Woody Allen's body of work and the blog pieces. But I think this piece is pretty good. Now I go, I'm struck that I don't have that I have his two stated advantages, money and creative freedom. I don't need a job and I can write whatever I please. I'd be thrilled if I wrote one great masterpiece with the time I have left. Yeah, it would thrill me. Sure. I'd be thrilled. That would be a great experience, write a masterpiece. Okay. If that's in the cards, I'll do it. And if it's playing with the kids at a 1 week rental in Florida, I'll do that. You know, if it's being F. Scott Fitzgerald, I'll do it. If it's being Sweet Grandpa, I'll do it. If it's being both, I'll do that. Even if I never get there, that clear desire would fuel my work to be the best that it can possibly be. That I disagree with, and I would edit that line out of this piece. The desire has nothing to do with it. My desire to be the best is not a natural desire. A natural desire is that I want to make a video this morning. I want to write something. That's a natural desire, not I want to write something great. I want to write something that will make an impact on the world forever. No, that's it's stupid actually. No, 10 years ago, now 11, I set out to be a writer. I've achieved that. I guess that I'm announcing today that my new dream is to be a great writer. There, I said it. And now, today, a year later, a year and 3 days later, I take it back. And that's the way it goes because a master has the ability to change. It sounds like an immodest claim to a part of me isn't just writing your best enough, but it is actually modest. I know how extraordinarily hard it is to be a masterful writer. No, I don't really know. Am I a masterful writer? I don't know. I know it's hard to be a good writer. I've written some stuff, good stuff. I don't I really don't know. I mean, I can imagine, but I don't know. And I know that I only have a sense that it's what I can be. I don't know. This stuff about no, you know why? Because I took Woody Allen seriously in this piece. I accepted this piece would have to be rewritten. There's some good things in it. But I took his premise. I've never written a masterpiece and I'm disappointed. Or in other words, I really should write a masterpiece. But, instead, what he did was he was a star for, decades and decades. So that's what he was up to and that's what he was doing. So, it's kind of disingenuous. And I don't know if it's disingenuous. Again, I don't want to moralize about it. I just don't think I don't want to frame it that way. I said what I have to say about that. Like I say, I'm really this is a little bit more of a shaggy dog than usual. This video. Now I want to prove that I am a master to my audience of one, me. No, that's a major change in the last year. I am not trying to prove anything to the audience of one. I don't have anything to prove to anybody. Nobody. I don't have anything to prove to anybody. I'm not on trial. I'm just living my life, keeping my nose clean. And trying to enjoy myself. And real enjoyment is not just no, it's indulgence on a higher level. I don't know. This is me really. This is me. What's behind this piece actually, it caused me a lot of agita for many years. That struggle, this striving First, it was striving to like, I want to be recognized. I want to be recognized in the world. And then that was replaced with, well, fuck the world. The world's stupid, but I want to do something really great. So, I wrote somewhere else, and this is the truth, I was like adored as an infant. I was adored as an infant. I didn't have to prove anything. I don't know if they realized that they were communicating that to me, but it was like what they communicated that to me deep down was that you don't have to do a fucking thing. You're wonderful. Just be wonderful. So here I am, Mr. Wonderful. Then this is, to me, a terrible line. One thing I've already noticed: the more consciously human I become, the better my writing. Well, yeah, it's just a. That's not. It's not much of a line. I think I have another advantage that eluded Woody. I'm reading no celebrity. I talked about that before. He wrote about celebrity. He tried to understand celebrity, but he couldn't get away with it. Stardust Memories, I don't think that was a masterpiece, but I think he was really trying something with that because he was dealing with how he responded to celebrity. So he got severely criticized for that because he he showed his resentment of the audience. And I had that experience too when I was performing. I got to a point where I didn't realize it either, but uh, uh, I got to a point where I couldn't stand them. I just didn't like them. They seemed to they didn't seem to. They were holding me back, and I think he was up against that. I think later in his career, when he did Deconstructing Harry, um, it wasn't with the audience, but it was with the people in his life, and he was. It was at the time when Scandal was when the whole Scandal thing with Woody Allen was fresh, and you could see that he was he was wrestling with this thing of uh, his position in the world and what he felt with it internally about it internally. At the same time, he was doing press conferences and making other public relations maneuvers to maintain his position in the world. So he dealt he dealt with real in his work. I could see where he's saying a masterpiece. It's like, how could he get through that? I was saying, your writing's better the more conscious you are. You get through it. You can write about it when you're on the other side of it. So he never really did a piece that had him transcend um, the requirements of an audience and transcend his need for social status. He never got there. And admittedly, those are really hard things to do. But that to me, I know I'm all Eugene O'Neill. It's not like I'm a scholar about Eugene O'Neill. I'm not familiar even with a lot of his plays. I'm familiar with Long Day's Journey mainly and The Iceman Cometh. But he had the Nobel Prize. You couldn't get more status than that. And he went away. He went away. He went to Provincetown. I think he went to Provincetown. I think he went back there. Wherever he did, he went away and he said nothing but writing. And then he did Long Day's Journey and Iceman Cometh. You gotta get you you got to get past that. I think that's been something um, that I've been doing recently. I think I think that's where I've been at. Um, Then I'm saying her greatness doesn't have a chance when crowded by expectations. One thing that gives me a shot at greatness is my refusal to please others intentionally, my natural tendency to self determination. Right. And the next thing that gives me a shot at greatness is my not giving a shit about my own estimation of my greatness or not. So I freed myself from everybody. I don't need anybody, including myself. I don't need myself. I just need to be myself. The I talk about consciousness of self, but it's different. But self consciousness, that's that's the thing. One of the reasons I've gotten happier and happier and happier. Um, for some reason, I think this move to Nashville was like a real. I don't know why, because there was the pandemic where I wasn't seeing, where I really wasn't interacting with people. And the last few years in Chicago, I really had separated from everything. But there was something about coming down here that I just became free. So it's not the audience. It's not social status. And it's not my own ambition to be anything. It's just comfortably being myself. And then the whole thing about consciousness, it's not about, like, even though the past might come up or whatever, but it's all about the present. I know now a lot of this is sounding like, oh, really? But it's really what I think. It's all about, like, being in the present moment and just like being, just going with the flow. And the flow will take care of everything. It's easy for me to say this right now because I've been on a hot streak. I mean, for years, I was like, I had one problem after another. And I had hard times. But I would say, actually, about the time that I started the blog, about the time, yeah, maybe like 2013, 2014, I everything's worked out. Everything's worked out. Everything. It's been, I'm still surprised by it. I'm I'm really I'm really surprised by it, but I don't feel I haven't had any difficulties. Now, I know eventually that'll change, but hopefully I'll go through changes that'll prepare me for that. Uh, okay, it says Alan's general audience can't distinguish between a good movie and a masterpiece. Eh, that's a lousy line. Some people can, in his. I mean, I don't know. That's not a good. That's not a just not a good piece of writing. The guy who wrote the article, when I saw the quote, said he thought Hannah and her sisters was a masterpiece. That was not a masterpiece. So, you know, that's what I just should have said. This guy who wrote the article doesn't know what a masterpiece is. Hannah and Her Sisters is a very entertaining movie. It's very enjoyable. It's an entertainment. it's not anything that really thinks about anything worth thinking about. Uh, Blue Jasmine really is, Kate Blanchett's character in that is Blanche Dubois, and that descending into madness from higher status or whatever, that Tennessee Williams wrote all that. So Woody Allen was just trying to write that character and use it in a movie and whatever. But so she played it. She gave a masterful performance in it, but not as good as what she gave in Tar, because she had more to work with in Tar. What's going on here? Yeah. Adobe Acrobat likes to interrupt whatever I'm doing on the computer. So, Sweet and Lowdown, at the end of the movie, when there was when Sean Penn realizes that he turned down love, and he said, "I made a mistake," and the power of that to me was profound. And not something, it doesn't come to mind that I've seen that much at all, but I'll say it. I'll say it now for all you little leaguers out there. And I'm proud to say that I'm good at this. The biggest mistake that you can make in life is turning down love. If somebody loves you, you should accept their love and love them back. Because when you turn down love, you reject yourself. It's very, very wise. I delivered it, the literary form that I was using there, as a fortune cookie, but I delivered that wisdom to you. And it's very beautifully expressed in Sweet and Lowdown. That was masterful. I say the bigger I get, the more that I want from my writing. The bigger I get, the more I want from my life. Not necessarily in the events of my life, but just in the real pleasure of being alive. It's just so great. It's so great. And then I write, I don't even want to name the masterpieces of great writers as examples here. They're irrelevant as to my personal art at this point. The biographies of great artists are more useful to me than their works. Yeah, that's kind of true. Yeah. They resonate with me. But the way that I express it is my own way. I just, if I read a great novel, it doesn't make me think, oh, I want to be a novelist. It makes me think, God, I want to be like that guy or that woman that was able to communicate that in some way. But I'm not saying like, oh, how did they, no, how did they use the words and everything? I really, that's not what moves me. Woody Allen, I don't know. He imitated the great artists like Eugene O'Neill and Tennessee Williams and others, even fairly late in his career. I've never done that. I've received great praise and criticism in the same comment from different people. I've never seen anything done that way before. I think that's another quality that positions me for greatness. Oh, this is a very humble piece. Said, I don't struggle for originality, but because of my sincere authenticity, I'm an original. Well, I actually think that's true. I can't really be anything other than who I am. So the biggest change that I think I've had in my life is that I get it now. And I understand it and I'm comfortable with it. I had pain associated with it. But if it's between my own ambition or the the ambitions of the world around me for me or whatever, um, it it's always that I just follow my own impulse more than either one of those things. I've always like I have short circuited so many ambitions of mine because I had some sort of sense that I had to do something else. Um, Woody Allen was conscious. Boy, this is long. This piece. I mean, it's long, and I'm not talking about the video, even though you might be thinking that about the video. This writing. Woody Allen was conscious of his popularity, first with stand-up audiences and later with a more sophisticated crowd. I've been conscious of my lack of popularity and just went with it. Ha. Actually, I, I've had popularity, and I don't give a shit about popularity either way. And I've had both sides of it. And I've had both sides, not popular or popular, and I've been both at the same time. And that's really everybody's story. So this is just popularity. Who gives a fuck? So to like yourself and be confident when people are shitting on you reaps great benefits for an artist. I've said that better before. Yes, the antagonists help you get stronger in who you are. You push back and you get form. What will life look when I elevate? What will my writing and life look like when I elevate them beyond greatness? Some people die complete. I'd like to be one of them. I'm shocked that I feel this morning that I've already done better in life and art than Woody Allen. Yeah, well, that was the problem, to be comparing myself to Woody Allen. It's not a comparison. I think I have done better actually than him. But anyway, it's not based on achievement. I just think I've had a better life. I'd rather have my life than his. And hopefully, I'm sure he'd rather have his life than mine. But I hope I wish him well, and I don't feel competitive with him. I don't know. I don't. This is. I've been smarter in my life. When I worked for Woody those few days, this is like a note that I wrote about later, like doing like a bit part a couple times in Woody Allen movies. When I worked for Woody those few days, I had a nagging sense that I didn't want to admit to myself that I was smarter than him. I felt that there was more to life than what he saw. Really, this is what I was feeling. I didn't want to be an actor in a Woody Allen movie. I wanted to do my own stuff. I didn't like the idea of being in somebody else's project. Now, that's not a comment about acting, because an actor can be like they are doing their own thing by getting those parts in those movies. But for me, the reason why I was there, I think, was just to observe his person. That was really the purpose of my being on his set. I didn't even care about the scenes, really. I mean, I did them and everything, but I didn't care about him. I've been smarter with my life than he has too. It can also be true for my body of work. I think I've surpassed him already, but that's not nearly far enough. Well, that goes back to I don't know if the world, I was looking at, I always hold my work in such high regard, and I think I've confused my life with like its objective value as art or creativity. Even though like I say, these notes, I don't think this is a good piece, but I think it's good writing in total because I was working things out. I think this is a good piece, as fuzzy as it is. I think this, with the video and talking about it, I think this is a good piece. or maybe it's a step to a good piece or something. But I'm not even concerned with these issues. I don't know. Uh, I'm going to stop here in the middle of this thing because there's a lot to consider here, but there's a lot of working through that I have to do when I go through this piece because there have been major changes for me since I wrote it. So that's it for today. And I got to think of a sign off or something. No, I don't. All right. So see you next time.